What was that, Mary?
I'm interested to submit offense reporter every day.
For what?
For Miranda Maldonado.
Okay. Well, I'll see it when I get there, and they'll have to bring it to me.
So you will find it.
Okay, good morning, everybody. This is the 323rd Juvenile Detention Docket for May 28th. We're going to go a little bit out of order this morning and going to call Mr. Willis's case first. As a reminder, we are live streaming on YouTube in order to comply with the Open Courts Act, since the courts are now closed to the public due to the Supreme Court's emergency orders. And if everyone could please keep themselves on mute until your case is called, and keep your cell phones silent, please. Okay, Mr. Willis, this is your 10-day detention hearing. I'm Judge Terry. I'm an associate judge here in the 323rd District Court. I just want to remind you that you have a right to remain silent. However, should you choose to speak during your detention hearing, nothing you say can be held against you at any other kind of hearing here in the juvenile court. We can only consider it for purposes of detention. You also have the right to an attorney, and your attorney is present here, Ms. Litterman. Do you see her on the Zoom screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. And you have a right to have your hearing recorded, and I will do that if Ms. Litterman requests that, okay? And I would also advise you not to say anything at all unless it's okay with your attorney, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I believe you are on probation with us for theft of a firearm. And that was as of May 7th of 2019. The offense report alleges that on February 18th of this year, you were arresting for evading arrest with the adult system. However, you were bonded out before a progress report was generated. On the 20th, the officer made contact with your mother to schedule an out-of-custody detention hearing, and she reported that you were back in Tarrant County Jail on an alleged murder charge. On the 21st of February of this year, the officer generated a progress report, and the DTA was issued out of this court in order to generate a hold on you in the adult jail. Apparently, the officer here has not received the offense report, but Mr. Boneberg indicates that on January 9th, 2020, that you were a passenger of a vehicle that involved a person being shot and killed. And that you and others are being charged or indicted for the murder. It's also noted that you are associated with a gang called Brothers Over Everything. According to your attorney, you had a bond hearing on May 11th, and the court agreed to lower your bond from $250,000 to $50,000. In addition, you completed a risk assessment and received 100% appearance rating. We still have an active DTA on you. It looks like a motion to modify has been filed by the DA's office. Let me take a look at your notes here.
And Judge, if I can just clarify also on the bond hearing of May 11th.
Yeah, just one moment, Ms. Lederman. I'm checking on something. Go ahead, Ms. Lederman.
And just to clarify, also on the bond reduction from May 11th, he is also ordered GPS house arrest, no new offenses, no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. Report is directed, UAs randomly as directed, and he has a no contact order with 6 other individuals. So it's not just a bond reduction, but there was also GPS monitoring, house arrest, bond
bond
caseload.
restrictions.
It's a very tight bond restriction.
Okay. See what's going on right here is I think you know, the adult court's operating in the way that they can, and this court's also trying to operate in the way that the law allows us to as well.
Right, but even if you ordered him released, he would still be in the adult system, and he would have to actually make the bond in the adult system and comply with all the adult and juvenile conditions.
Yeah.
And if you look at the case here, it's much less serious than the case in the adult system.
Well, not really, because his case here was the unlawful carrying of a weapon and theft of firearm, and which you're right, it's much less on, if you look at them separately. But looking at these two offenses on the whole, things are becoming more serious, and allegedly this occurred while he was on probation for that theft of a firearm. So for him to be around them and stuff still and put himself in those situations, that gives me great concern.
And while I do understand, and my client and his mother and his family understand that, we have as tough of bond restrictions as there can be with home arrest, GPS monitoring, UAs, weekly bond caseload reporting. Because we're looking at least, a year and a half before this case gets resolved.
He's been in Tarrant County since February.
Correct.
Who's on here? Is it Mr. Richmond today? Mr. Richmond, what are your thoughts on this?
Judge, I agree with the court's point that he was on supervision for having a stolen firearm and then was found, has now been charged with using that firearm in a murder case. I think based on the safety concerns that I would ask that he remain detained. Looking at, I understand that while he has a risk assessment says 100% appearance rate, I'm still concerned about the threat to the safety. I do note he has some non-charged referrals for more carrying of weapons and supervisory caution for an assault back in late 2017, early 2018. So based on all that, I'd ask that he remain in detention.
Yeah, that's scary. Go ahead.
I don't know if we can say, I've heard him say that it was the same weapon. I don't believe that's true.
Oh no, I don't even care if it was the same weapon or whatever. It really doesn't matter to me.
Or that he was even the person with the weapon in the new case.
Well, again, and that doesn't even really matter to me at this point. I'm just looking at the allegations and the law parties, and that then I mean, it is what it is. And being where he was and what the allegations are. Does he have a parent on here anywhere?
Mom has been to every hearing. I don't know if she is at this one. She's been to all the others, and she has regular communication with our office.
What did you have there? I thought Mom hadn't been. No, she has been. Okay. Maybe she's on here some way. If anyone, Ms. Lederman, do you see her on the Zoom?
Usually she's at the courthouse, Judge.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have anybody in here.
And I don't know if Mr. Howard had any communication with her.
I believe he spoke yesterday. Yeah.
Hold on, let me see if we can. Have we heard from Mr. Willis's mom? Can we call her real quick? Usually we're last, so I don't know if she was going to come in at the end.
Okay, so the answer to that is no, maybe?
We're calling her right now.
Okay. Yeah, I just saw and checked. Mom has been to everything.
She is at the courthouse.
Okay, well, she's not back in the regular, and she's not where the parent's laptop has been set up.
She's at the front. I don't know if they've told her to go in. She's in the front of the, in the lobby.
I think my bailiff just went to see if she can go back there.
No, they told her to wait. They wouldn't let her in.
Who's they?
She's here, Judge.
Okay, so, all right, my bailiff took care of that problem. Thank you.
Okay. There she is.
All right, hi, ma'am. I'm glad we found you.
Thank y'all. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, baby.
Ms. Lederman, do you have any indication of how he's been doing over there in Tarrant County?
I mean, as far as we know, well, we haven't had any incidents. I mean, they're, you know, everyone's trying to stay clean and healthy right now.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. Again, you know, Mr. Willis, it's not, we have a different set of rules and different consideration over here. And so that's what I'm thinking under. And so that is my job. And my thought is this, I agree with the district attorney's office that it, you see the point that you had some previous, kind of a previous pattern that was alleged, and you do have a previous adjudication and have been on probation. And these very serious charges are stemming from the time when you were on probation here. And involved a gun, which is what you're on probation for to begin with as well. I have just, if this were just like a one-time thing maybe or something, I don't know. But right now I have serious concern for the safety of their community and the fact that you have a previous adjudication here. So I will wait and see, we can wait and see what happens with you down there, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep you detained here. Thank you.
May we be excused?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Letterman. David.
He is gone. Can you take him back to 68? Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go back to the top. If we can get Mr. Conway back there.
Your Honor, I'm covering for Ms. Rojas today.
Okay, thank you.
And he should have a parent present.
Okay, we're waiting on a parent. Who's managing the parents today? Do you know? Okay, it looks like they're coming in now. Okay. All right. Yes. Ooh, let's see what we got then. Okay, Mr. Conway, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm Judge Terry. I'm an associate judge here in the 323rd. This is your 10-day detention hearing. You have a right to remain silent. However, should you choose to speak, nothing that you say at your detention hearing can be held against you at any other kind of hearing here. I can only consider it for purposes of detention, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Deputy Armstead, can you take that? Actually, I keep getting mixed up here with two dockets. Thank you. You have a right to an attorney, and your attorney is here on the Zoom screen. Do you see Mr. Hall there?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hall, you changed your background on me. All right, you have a right to have your hearing recorded, and if you want your hearing recorded, Mr. Hall will let me know that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you have been with us since May 13th. Oof. I know last time you saw Judge Porter, he indicated that we would consider releasing you if you're on level 1 outstanding.
Yes, ma'am.
But I see as of today, you've been here again since the 13th, and you are on level 2 outstanding.
Yes, ma'am.
And let's see, Ms. Turner Hill, do you know why he's on level 2? Did he ever make it to level 1?
Yes, I was on one.
I'm asking, hold on, I'm asking your PO first, okay?
Yes, ma'am. He was on level 1 on May the 20th, and then from May 20th to May 23rd. And then it's my understanding that he got caught trying to access social media while on the computer, and so he got secluded. So he went to level 3 confined, and I don't think he's had any other infractions since that time. So he's just working his way back up.
Mr. Conway, why would you be trying to access social media?
Because I was trying to get in contact with my cousin.
Okay, what's your cousin gonna do for you while you're in here?
I just wanted to talk to them and ask them a question on the phone because I was going to tell my mom.
Was it that important to where you want to stay here with us longer?
No, ma'am.
I mean, because really I'm concerned because I know you've got a companion here and you referred on the 12th Arlington PD for a burglary of a habitation and engaging in organized crime. The offense report says that on the 12th at approximately 18:22 hours, law enforcement responded to a suspicious person call at Brook Hollow Apartments. Contact was made with the victim who advised that her apartment was broken into and that an HP Chromebook, gray in color, and a pink keyboard were taken from the bedroom. Victim provided a list of additional items that were taken, and apparently you were seen running and was able to be detained by Officer Camacho. You were seen running with something in your hand. A laptop was found in the area where you ran. The laptop was matched to the reported burglary of the habitation. You were seen on cameras on security cameras. And then your companion seen carrying stolen items with other suspects. You were interviewed by Detective Klein and you admitted to the offense. Prior to that arrest at 1640 hours, law enforcement responded to an aggravated assault call at 2515 Walnut Circle apartment 7:17 at Walnut Ridge. Victim reported that 3 young black males were looking into his vehicle when he went outside and confronted them. One of them, not you, pointed a handgun, so that was not you. But they did a field ID, and as soon as the victim saw you, confirmed that you were one of the 3. Well, at least you weren't the one pointing the gun at him. But you do know if someone would have tried to, if that person would have shot him, you'd be here on a whole different charge. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Someone explained to you what the law of parties is?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so these boys you're running around with doing this stuff, whatever one of you does, you could all be go down for the same thing. Even if you're not the one with the gun, you're not the one that pulls the trigger. Do you understand that?
Now I do. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I hope so, because that's where it's looking like it's headed if you don't change something. These are not your friends.
Yes, ma'am.
You're currently on probation with Dallas County. Tested positive for marijuana when you came in. I think there's more to you wanting to contact your cousin. I think you're trying to handle things outside of here. For whatever reason, you are not on level 1 outstanding. And I could have just not taken any time with you, but I wanted to take the time with you to understand that I'm thinking through this like I'm supposed to, okay? I don't think you're taking this seriously, because social media is more important than your freedom right now. So I'm going to keep you detained, and we will consider releasing you if you can get to level 1 outstanding and stay there the next time, okay?
To my next
Thank
detention
you.
hearing?
Pardon?
My next detention hearing?
Yeah, you have a right to a detention hearing every 10 business days. So it'll be about another 2 weeks before we consider your release, and we won't be able to consider that unless you're on level 1 outstanding here. That is the gold standard. It doesn't matter what judge you get here. Your standard is going to be level 1 outstanding, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Jackson.
And Terrence Jackson is next. That'll be Mr. Willett. I'll ask you to unmute yourself, Mr. Willett. I do not like this new feature where you have to ask them to do it if it's set up that way. Thank you.
You said Terrence Jackson?
Yes, Terrence Jackson. And is Mr. Jennings on here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, there you are. I saw you earlier, but you know how Zoom is, everyone moves around.
Yes.
It looks like there's a parent coming in.
Yeah, and then Mom needs to step here. Okay. Yeah, she's good. Whatever you need.
The kids don't come in here and either?
No, they'll be in a room back there.
On the monitor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, looks like Mom is here. Are you Mr. Jackson Jr.?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please move your chair closer to the laptop so that I can hear you and sit up and speak up, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. I'm Judge Terry. This is your 10-day detention hearing. And I'm an associate judge here in the 323rd District Court. You have a right to remain silent. However, should you choose to speak, nothing you say at your detention hearing can be held against you at any other kind of hearing here. I can only consider it for purposes of detention. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Okay, and you have a right to an attorney. In fact, your attorney is Mr. Willett. Do you see him on the screen there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. If you can speak more clearly, that would be great, thanks. You have a right to have your hearing recorded. If you choose that, Mr. Willett will let me know, all right? Okay, so you have been here since the, oh wow, just since today. That's right, okay. So you've been here since this morning, and they're alleging that you've committed an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and burglary of a habitation and engaging in organized criminal activity. So it says that on May 12th at approximately 1840, the victim saw 3 males around his car looking into his car. Victim exited his apartment and walked toward them to confront them when the suspect with the green skull cap, later identified as Terrence Jackson, pointed a black handgun with an extended clip at him and stated, "Didn't want any of this." Okay, the victim stated that he immediately returned to his apartment and called 911 as he was in fear of his life. Then, according to the offense report, on the same day at 5/12, at approximately 18:22, actually, would have been earlier in the day, approximately 18:2200 hours, excuse me, Arlington PD responded to a suspicious call at Brook Hollow Apartments. Contact was made with the victim, who advised that her apartment was broken into, and then an HP Chromebook, gray in color, and pink keyboard were taken from the bedroom. Victim provided an additional list of items that were taken from her apartment. Accomplice was seen running and was able to be detained by Officer Camacho. The accomplice was seen running with something in his hand. Laptop was found in the area where the accomplice ran. The laptop was able to be matched to the reported burglary at a habitation. The accomplice was seen on cameras by apartment security carrying stolen items with other suspects. The accomplice was interviewed by Detective Klein and admitted to the offense and provided the first name of both individuals involved. Did you hear that?
Okay.
Okay, so just like I told your companion that came in before you, y'all are not friends. The accomplice advised officers that he met up with the other accomplice at a Circle K convenience store. Officers reviewed security tape footage from the Circle K and observed an individual with a green skull cap being dropped off. Suspect entered the store at 18:03 hours and picked up a cup of ice. Suspect then approached the register and then exited. Officers took pictures of the suspect and requested assistance identifying him. Principal at Carter Junior High identified him as Terrence Jackson. Officers were able to detain one of the accomplices as they conducted a field show of the suspect. The victim of the aggravated assault and deadly weapon was able to positively identify you as one of the suspects. Your accomplice is one of the suspects, but confirmed that he was not the one with the gun. Officers then prepared a 6-person lineup with Terrence Jackson and 5 similar-looking males and had it presented as a blind lineup to the victim of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The victim positively identified you as the suspect with the gun. Let's see. Oh, you were just put on probation on February 6th for unauthorized use of a vehicle. Did you meet Judge Kim when you were here before?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And so you know what our standards are going to be level 1 outstanding, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
But I also know, did he ever explain the law of parties to you? Did he or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's not a trick question. I'm just asking you because if not, I'll either inform you or I can even just remind you when you're out with your, so to speak, all your boys and stuff, supposed to be your friends, doing this kind of stuff. These are not your friends, okay? Because when you're out doing these kind of things, one of you does something that breaks the law and you're all together, then you all can go down for the same thing. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
You are not friends with the other guys because you put them in a situation where you're the one allegedly it's using a gun, putting them in a more difficult situation than they could possibly understand that they were in, okay? You're on probation with us. Now there's alleged that you're out taking more things that don't belong to you and you're using a gun. Mom, what's going on? He's like, I think he's younger than the other one of the other ones.
Yes. I'm not for sure if it's the same friend, supposedly, that he calls friend, but I'm positive most likely it probably is. But we kind of went like on a bad pattern. I lost my place. I'm going through a messy divorce with my husband. He's just been dealing with a lot of stress, like on my end. But then far as with him with school and stuff and friends, it got like bad past last summer, hanging out with the friends and stuff. And so a lot of times when he's gone with his friends, I'm really not aware of what he's doing and what's happening, but I know he's to the age where he can be responsible and he have to take actions for his own behavior.
Well, he's at the age where he can be responsible, but he's not being responsible. I mean, he's still a child. And so he still needs supervision, especially with this kind of behavior. And I understand what you're going through, ma'am, but he at some point, you know, he's going through a lot too as a teenager in and of itself. And then he's also going through having to deal with how to break out of this bad pattern of behavior and all these horrible choices he's making for himself and choices of friends that he has. So Mr. Jackson, you can choose now to dump these people and try to move forward with your life and get through all this stuff, or you can choose to possibly end up in TJD, which looks like you kind of want to be there. No, you don't? Okay, I need you to get to level 1 outstanding so we can have another conversation in 10 business days, okay? But for now, I'm detaining you because it's clear to me that you are a danger to yourself, running around with a gun, and to the community. And so you're detained. All right, Mr. Willett, you have Mr. Killingsworth next.
Yes.
Yes, please. I'm going to refresh everything because now that the holiday broke our cycle. Oh, Mr. Killingsworth, you're nice and close. Can you move back a little bit so I can see the rest of your face?
Your Honor, may I?
Oh, you're good. That's good.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I think that's not the mom of the client that I see. That's
We need the mother to Mr. Killingsworth, please.
She's on Zoom, Your Honor.
Okay. And where can I find, what's her name on here?
It should be S.E. Williams.
Okay, I see someone, Happiness Rose, who unmuted herself.
That's her, Your Honor.
Can you hear us, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Mr. Killingsworth, this is your 10-day detention hearing. I'm Judge Terry. I know we've met before. You have a right to remain silent. However, should you choose to speak, nothing you say can be held against you. At any other kind of hearing here, I can only consider it for purposes of detention, okay? You have a right to have an attorney, and your attorney is Mr. Willett, and he is here on the Zoom screen. Do you see him?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, you also have a right to have your hearing recorded, and if you choose that, Mr. Willett will let me know that. All right. What day was his last hearing you said hearing? Okay, yeah, he'd only been on level 1 outstanding for a few days. Okay, Mr. Killingsworth, so I remember sending you home near the end of April. Was it before that? Anyway, I'm trying to find where to start. You have so much going on. Came back in on April 28th. On a directive to apprehend issued by Judge Porter. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, it was issued on the 27th by Judge Kim due to a curfew violation. You're arrested in Fort Worth and transported to Fort Worth PD without incident. Transported by Fort Worth PD. You left your home at 12:06 p.m. in violation of the monitor. You did not have an approved timeout. You had a pending referral for theft of property. You also had a previous directive to apprehend issued by Judge Porter on April 3rd. Your whereabouts were unknown. On April 22nd, the officer received an out of custody referral for you for the offense of theft of property. According to the police report, on 4/7/2020 at 10:36, Fort Worth, police officer was dispatched to Ladera Apartments in reference to a stolen vehicle. According to the victim, on 4/6/2020, you, who are the cousin of the victim's boyfriend, spent the night in their home. Keys were on the counter when she went to bed that night, I remember, and then you did not have the permission to take her car, which was the blue Ford Explorer. That's just doing dumb stuff. That's doing dumb teenage stuff. And I think that thought ran through my mind when I saw you the last time. The problem is you don't respect any kind of authority and you don't follow any kind of orders. I think you've met all three of us judges here at this point. We've all tried to send you home and give you a chance to be out there at home with your mom. And you keep telling us by your actions that you want to come back here. Am I wrong?
No, ma'am.
So you had one monitor violation on the 26th of April for a few hours, for over 3 hours that night on Sunday night. Officer talked with you the next day about it, and then you left your home again. And you're out committing offenses while we're allowed to go back home, or allegedly committing offenses. This is the thing, Mr. Killingsworth, what's scary about you is because, please sit up and look up, please. Thank you. What's scary about you, and I'm not afraid, but I'm saying what's scary, I'm afraid for the community about you, is that you know how to behave. You know how to play the game, how to look good, how to follow the rules to get what you want to get, okay? But then once you're free or once you have a minute, you're just going to go on out and do whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter what Judge Kim says, doesn't matter what Judge Porter says, doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't matter what your PO says, doesn't matter what your mom says. I know it doesn't matter what your attorney says. I'm pretty sure he's not telling you that this stuff is okay. So you've shown a long pattern of bad choices, along with a pattern of knowing how to behave and demonstrating that you know how to behave. Oh, then you came in positive for marijuana too, and you came back in April. So I can no longer go on the standard with you. Oh, he's been great. You know, let's let him go back home, because my fear is that every time we do that, you're showing us that you're still a danger to the community. So for now, I'm keeping you detained and I'm not making any deals with you as far as outstanding behavior, but we will have a conversation about it. Again, if you have, I mean, I do have to seriously consider this every 10 business days, and I will, but I'm just telling you, it's not gonna be easy, okay? So I don't know if there's a level 1 outstanding triple gold star plus, but if there is, maybe you can invent it back there, okay?
Right.
Now you're detained.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, so Miranda Maldonado is next. Is that you, Mr. Hall?
Yes.
And Mr. Willett, I think, oh no, you have one more.
Yeah, I thought I had 3, but I actually didn't see it on the list.
Yeah, I think you have an out of the custody Yao, like it'll be the very last one that we do before we go off the live stream.
Okay.
So just a few more, I think. Ms. Maldonado's here. Here's their parent, Mr. Hall. Okay.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, Ms. Maldonado, this is your initial detention hearing. I know you have been here before, but I am going to tell you, remember that you have a right to have this hearing within 2 business days of being brought in here to Kimbo. You have the right to remain silent. However, should you choose to speak, nothing you say can be held against you at any other kind of hearing here. I can only consider it for purposes of detention, okay? And so today I decide whether we should keep you here again or if we should send you back home with your parent or guardian. You have a right to an attorney, and if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. But you do have attorney Mr. Hall here on the screen. Do you see him today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and I do need you to speak up too and sit up straight, please. And you have a right to have your hearing recorded, and should you choose to do that, Mr. Hall will let me know, all right? Oh, so you are now, you had a birthday. You were brought in yesterday for a violation of a court order. Let's see, this court issued a DTA yesterday. And they found you at home and you were transported here without incident. And you're positive for marijuana again. You're on probation for criminal mischief, unauthorized use of a vehicle. Three electronic monitor violations in the past week, all in the middle of the night between 12:30 and 1:30. You were given a verbal warning after the first 2 violations, and you committed the 3rd violation just 2 days later. Prior to these current violations, your mother and grandmother both reported concerns that you'd been smoking marijuana with your friends outside in the front yard of their apartment. How much more disrespectful could you be to your mom and grandma? Like right in the front yard, right in your face, you're gonna do whatever you wanna do. You did test positive, obviously. I saw when they brought you in yesterday. You have a current motion to modify set for July 9th. They're currently seeking placement options for you and request that you be detained pending your next court appearance. This is your 3rd failure to comply on an electronic monitor that you've had since February. So, is this mom or grandma here?
Grandma.
Okay. Is she just kind of out there home doing just kind of whatever she wants still?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, she's only 14. I would think that she would have been so afraid of this place by now and just so uncomfortable here that she would kind of just follow the rules so she could stay out of here.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, do you even want her to come back home right now?
Yes.
You do? Even behaving the way she's been?
Well, I have to do something with her.
But well, I mean, but what are you doing with her is what I'm asking. What do you plan on doing with her if she is home?
I keep her upstairs, I've told her, not to come downstairs no more. And, but she said that she could come out downstairs as long as she didn't leave. And I don't know.
Is this like a 2-story, like a townhouse or something?
I live in, they're duplexes, they're apartments, ma'am, and I live upstairs.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And my other grandkids, they live downstairs, so that's why she goes downstairs.
I see. Are they older grandkids or are they her age too?
Yes, that's her older brother and her older sister.
So I'm hearing what your grandma is saying, Miranda. Okay. I'm hearing that she's doing what she can do by just giving you the rules and expecting you to follow them. But you're just not. You're not doing that. You're just not. And I don't understand. I'm looking at everything else that you have been through here for. It's been going on for 3 years and you're just completely out of control. And you're 14 now, and I'm afraid that it's just going to get worse for you. You're out in the middle of the night, 14 years old. I don't think you could possibly understand the things that could happen to you out there. And you may or may not be found. Forget police trouble. You may find yourself in more world of hurt than you could even possibly imagine at 14 years old. You have no idea what's going on out there. So I'm concerned not only for your safety, okay, but looking at your pattern of, just bucking authority. You won't even listen to your own grandma and mom, and you won't listen to the court's orders either. So I'm going to have to keep you here. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do. What do you think we should do at your next detention hearing? How long do you think you need to stay here with good behavior in order to convince the court that you're not going to be out there running around putting yourself in danger?
I don't know. I do want the better for myself. I'm writing a book every day to God. I just don't know what's holding me back.
Okay. I mean, you probably, and that's good. I'm glad to hear that. And I think you should stay committed to that. Okay. And that should be something that you actually do because you want to do it and do it to better yourself, not just because it's something to say that you're doing. Or don't just do it because you want to show people you're doing it, or don't just do it to show the court so you could get home. Do it for yourself because that's what's good for you, okay? And another start will be whoever's providing you with marijuana and stuff, they're not your friend. They're not. I don't even know how a 14-year-old gets money for that kind of stuff. I don't even want to know that right now from you, okay? But they're not your friends. And if it's someone in your family, that's even worse. Okay. So that's another issue that will have to be dealt with. And I'm kind of thinking it may be somebody in your family that's that easy to get that close to home. So that's something that will have to be worked out because we're here to actually help you. I'm not trying to punish you. I need to get you away from whatever it is that's going on out there right now because you're not able to do that and your family's not able to do that for you. So that's why I'm keeping you detained, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The last one, Judge, Mr. Parker.
What was that, Mr. Hall?
I think that's my last one.
That is your last one. Thank you. Okay, I think I saw Mr. Berger on here. Oh, there he is.
I'm here, Judge.
Is this Alicia Viescas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Ms. Viescas, this is your detention hearing. Purpose of your detention hearing is to determine whether we should keep you here while your case is pending or we should send you home. You have a right to have a detention hearing within 2 business days of being brought in here, okay? You have a right to remain silent. However, should you choose to speak, nothing you say can be held against you at any other kind of proceeding here. I can only consider it for purposes of detention, okay? You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, then the court will appoint one for you. And today we have Mr. Berger here. Mr. Berger, if you can speak up so your screen will highlight and she'll see you.
Oh, sorry, I might have it muted. Okay.
That's me.
sure.
No, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So that's your attorney. Do you see him?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you also have a right to have this hearing recorded. And if you want to do that, Mr. Berger will let me know. And is that her mom here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Ms. Viescas, you were brought in yesterday by Arlington PD and a DTA on May 21st, 2020. A progress report was submitted to the court to address you not complying with the CDBD program, which was one of the conditions of your release. On May 11th, the PO received an email from the program director indicating that you were no longer available for your curfew checks and misscheduled telehealth services with your advocate. Additionally, CBD reported that you have not actively participated in the program, nor have you consistently made yourself available for services as compared to other clients. The DTA was issued on 5/26/2020. You were released from detention on on March 4th of this year. Let's see, pending referrals, you were referred in custody by Arlington PD for UUMV, possession of marijuana, and possession of controlled substance, specifically Xanax. According to the police report, officers ran the plates in a suspicious vehicle parked on the side of the street with the lights on. Car was reported in a UUMV about 2 hours earlier. Officer approached the car and you and a peer were occupying the car. Car emitted a strong odor of marijuana and the window was rolled down. You were in the driver's seat and was adamant that you took the car. The car belonged to the other occupant's mom, who apologized to his mom via text message for taking the car. When the officers searched you, you were found to be in possession of 5 Xanax pills and marijuana. You were arrested and transported to I can't even get that out of my mouth right now, TCJDC, and the companion was released to his parent. Car was returned to the owner. There's not a date on that. When did that occur? Ms. Turner Hill?
Let me look it up right quick. I'm sorry.
Was that the offense date of February 18th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. She didn't spend much time here at all. In 2018, an out-of-custody referral for the offense of robbery was received from the Arlington PD. Says on October 26, 2018, officers were dispatched to a fight on the scene. They met with 2 victims. One was approached by you. You wanted to fight her. Attempted to intervene, was punched by your brother. You got the victim on. Okay, so there's a fight there. Well, what's going on? Why are you just kind of checking out of everything that you were supposed to do when you were released?
Well, I was doing really good at first. Like for the first month and a half of my program, I was talking to my advocate every day, and I was doing everything I was supposed to do. But when the coronavirus stuff came and my probation got extended, I was only supposed to be on it for a month. But they canceled all court dates, so I just kind of gave up, and I kind of just stopped calling her. But I've been home every single day. I've been home for curfew checks.
So what does the coronavirus have to do with you not being able to make a phone call?
I just felt like it sounds like selfish, but I just didn't want to do it no more because I did what I needed to do for the first 3 weeks. That's what they told me. I was supposed to be on it for only 3 weeks, but since the coronavirus stuff happened, there was no court dates. So I had to be on probation for like 3 months as opposed to 3 weeks.
Ms. Turner-Hill?
I'm not sure where she's getting 3 weeks from.
Me either.
Because that's what my probation officer told me, the one who came to my house after I got released.
So it must have been an advocate, I guess. Mr. Chapa is the program director. He's signed on to Zoom as well. And I don't know if he can provide additional information, but we normally tell kids you'll be on until the court decides to take you off or you go to court. And my understanding, it was addressed with the advocate about her non-compliance before it resulted in, a progress report.
Right. And so Mr. Chapa, can you shed some light on this situation for me, please?
Yes, definitely. So whenever we complete the intake, we do let them know that because they are on CBD, they're basically going to be receiving services until they go back for their adjudication disposition hearing. And just like Alicia was mentioning, I do have to admit that she was doing well when she initially started. It looks like most of her missed scheduled calls and curfew checks that she missed were this last month. So we even attempted to go by her home, I believe 3 weeks ago, kind of to mediate everything that was going on, and hopefully we could turn everything around. But it almost seems like that made it worse because she wasn't available after that, like at all. So.
Okay. Mom, what's going on?
She just kind of gave up, and we all tried to tell her, repercussions of not doing what she was supposed to be doing. I tried to talk to her, advocate tried to tell her. She doesn't, think y'all were going to rearrest her if she didn't check in with curfew.
Well, she's big now, right? She's a big girl. She's 17. She's pretty much going to do what she wants to do is what she's now telling everybody. Is what it seems, right?
Yeah, I mean, she was home. She is home every night. She's always there, but I can't force her to take the phone from my hand to speak to her advocate.
Yeah. And I understand the coronavirus has been difficult on a lot of people, on most people, on some level, whether it's, work, school, emotionally, whatever. I mean, I don't think there's one person that hasn't been affected by it on some large scale, okay, in some way. But is she, Mr. Chopper, are you able to accept her back into that program?
I believe we would need a new referral, just because whenever they are referred to us as a CBD, we are able to discharge once a DTA is put as unsuccessful, or she's just detained on something new, or in the case that she would successfully complete and end up going back to court with no issues. So at this point, she's been discharged from our program. A new referral would need to be sent.
Okay. She tested positive for marijuana when she came back in. Here's what I'm gonna do. I do want her to be able to complete that program. I also want her, if she wants to behave like an adult, like she can make her own adult decisions and stuff, I want her to understand that she is now 17 And if she does fall back into her old behaviors, we won't even see her. She'll be going downtown.
Yes.
So,
Hey, Patty. Are you on the?
someone kind of talk. Mr. Richmond, what are your thoughts? I'm curious.
Judge, I don't have too much to add. I mean, I do see that she's kind of quit on that program, and that's bothersome. Perhaps seeing if she can follow the rules in detention for a cycle would be beneficial. Regarding that, that's what I have.
Okay. Any thoughts, Mr. Berger?
I really can't say much, Judge. I mean, it was her choice not to engage in the program. I would ask that there be some clarification as to what she needs to do to be in compliance, say for the next 2 to 3 months, if that's how long it takes. I don't know where she got the idea that it was a 3-week program, but I don't want there to be any confusion. So if we could be clear as to what she needs to do to get back to compliance, that would be useful.
Yeah, Ms. Turner-Hill, can you speak to that?
Normally, a child is in a program until they go to court. Her case, they haven't even filed a petition yet. I'm not sure what the delay is. So that's normally the way it goes. If at some point in time, I guess the program, they feel like they've reached maximum benefit with her and she's engaged for a certain period of time, then we submit a progress report to the court to ask them if they want her to continue or not. But that would be up to the CBD program if they felt that way.
On one hand, Alicia, I could just say, you know, you're 17, well, we'll just let you go home. And if you're going to do what you're going to do. Okay. But on the other hand, that's not my job either. I am until you're completely done here because of your age, I think I need to do whatever I can to help get you rehabilitated. So part of that, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep you here because you did test positive for marijuana also. So, that tells me you are a danger to yourself in some way still. And I want you to, obviously your behavior level has to be one outstanding in order to be considered to go home. But I also want to make sure that you test clean when you leave here, okay? So that way, we know if something happens again, we know that we've done what we can, you know, and you're just gonna choose to go out there and maybe do the program, maybe not, but you know, if you end up smoking again, that's just something we've tried. So I wanna make sure that you're clean before you leave here. And so that'll be the order. Thank you.
Your Honor, just for clarity, you want her to stay in detention until she
Yes, she's detained. She's detained until level 10, and then she also has to be clean before she can be released.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Is that it?
Okay, do not bring another youth back there. The next one we have is out of custody. So do not bring another juvenile back there yet. So whoever is here on the Mr. Yao matter.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's yours, is it right, Mr. Willett? And where is the juvenile? It's out of custody.
It was in the lobby.
Okay. A bailiff will go get him and his parent. Oh, I think they're taking him. They're coming in. Yes. Okay. Mr. Yao,
Yes, ma'am.
is that how it's pronounced?
It's Yo.
It's Yo.
Miss Yo, okay, great, thank you. I'm Judge Terry. This is a detention hearing. You've been brought in to determine whether I should allow you to stay out in the community or whether I should detain you here at Kimbo, okay? Just remember, at your detention hearings, you have a right to remain silent. However, should you choose to speak, nothing you say can be held against you at any other kind of proceeding. I can only use it for purposes of detention, okay? Is that a yes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. And so you also have a right to an attorney. And your attorney is Mr. Willett, and he's here on the screen. Do you see him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And your attorney will let me know if you would like your hearing recorded, then I will do that. All right. So you are, let's see. There's a directive to resume supervision of you received by Wilson County on May 20th. It reported that you and your mother failed to notify your PO in Wilson County of your change of address to include a temporary address. You were not in the physical custody of your mother from May 3rd to May 10th.
No.
The directive to review, hold on, ma'am, I've got to do this, okay? It'll be your turn to speak when I say.
All right.
The directive to resume reports that Mary Siraki called the mother on May 4th to conduct an outpatient therapy session with Edward via telephone. Ms. Prater informed that there was an altercation or argument between her and her boyfriend, and Edward went to reside with his grandmother in Bern, Texas until the 10th of May. Edward's maternal grandmother has not completed a parent orientation or chaperone class through Tarrant County, Wilson County, or with a licensed or approved OTP. So Ms. Siraki contacted family again on May 11th, and Edward reported that he had returned home to his original address in Elmendorf, Texas. Probation officer out of Wilson County reported that she became aware of this violation of supervision on the 18th of May after speaking to Ms. Siraki. A progress report was submitted to the court to determine if directive to apprehend would be issued. It was issued on May 22nd, including that the juvenile moved without informing JPD and unsuccessful discharge from sex offender treatment. Currently, juvenile has not been unsuccessfully discharged from treatment. So has he been unsuccessfully discharged or has he not, Mr. Willett? Do you know?
I don't know, Your Honor. This is the first that.
Okay, Ms. Salcedo?
Your Honor, we have a record that he was participating in aftercare. It was in the DTA where it was marked that he was unsuccessfully discharged, so I think there may be an error.
Okay, so he has not been unsuccessfully discharged.
Not that I'm aware, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, so what happened, Mom?
Okay. I had a job to do out of town. I left late Sunday night. I took him to my mom's. It's in Bernie. And Bernie, from where we live in Wilson County, is about 45 minutes away.
So Sunday would have been May 3rd?
Yes. I, on the other hand, went to Corpus Christi. I thought it would be better to send him to my mom because it's right there on touching the county line, you know, to where we were. Instead of taking him all the way to Corpus, you know, with me, where somewhere I didn't know, I hadn't been there before. I just had to do a couple of days job. It would take about a week. But I didn't even stay the whole time because the thing happened with him and the therapist, and that was it. And no, I didn't tell her that I had an altercation, but she had mentioned something about my boyfriend, and I told her we weren't speaking.
So what happened? What do you mean? What happened with him and the therapist?
With her saying whatever to the, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not part of that situation. That's why I'm asking you.
He called me to do his therapy, and I told her where I was and where he was. She told me that I needed to contact his PO because that's okay. So I did. If you talk to the psychiatrist, she'll tell you I was screaming into the phone because I had lost my voice. I couldn't speak. And whenever I left the message for the PO, she says she didn't get it. And I told her she's gonna have to go back because she probably wasn't able to hear me. But I did tell her where I was, what was going on, that I would be back. I wasn't running. I wasn't running. He didn't do anything wrong. Edward didn't do anything wrong. This was a miscommunication. Now, Miss Salcedo has been Edward's probation officer for about a week now. And I've spoken to her more than I did the probation officer in Wilson County that was his probation officer for 2 months. She didn't reach out. She didn't make contact. She called him once. I called her once when he got home from Pegasus School, and she called a month later. That was it.
Okay, so they're not the ones that have the burden that you do, okay? There is a court order, and we're not here to talk about how many times a probation officer called him before or whatnot. The issue is, was it violated? And I'm asking why, okay? So when did you call his probation officer to tell her that,
After I got off
that you were dropping him off with your mom?
That he had been dropped off with my mom right after I got off the phone with the psychiatrist.
Okay, so you didn't ask for permission beforehand?
Monday. No, I couldn't. I left Sunday night.
And I'm sorry, why did you have to leave again?
I had a job.
Okay. And let me take a look here. Okay, I think Mom, you and I definitely agree that Edward didn't do anything wrong here. He's under your care. He's 15 years old. You are setting an example for him that, oh, it's just an order. I got to do this, and then we'll just explain later, maybe, if someone catches us, because you didn't even call until the psychiatrist had a conversation with you. And that's my concern. That I know the history of this case, and my biggest concern is with the excuses that you make to the court for your ability to supervise or not him, or to make sure that things get done or that they don't. And so I know this isn't Edward's fault. I don't want to punish him because you're not following the rules, and it may seem stupid, and harmless. You may have had to go there for work. I believe that, okay? But I don't think that you were just called on a Saturday or a Sunday saying you have to be here right now, okay? And if you did, it would have been the first call that I'd had before I even talked to his therapist, would have been to his PO. Yeah, at some point, if stuff like this continues, it's very possible that Edward would have to be brought back in and kept here just because maybe there's not proper supervision at home. I'm happy with your behavior, Edward. I don't think that you've done anything outside of what you can control, okay? But you're also 15 too. Do you have a cell phone?
No, ma'am, I don't. The only thing that I have is a tablet that has one game on it. We don't have Wi-Fi out where we live.
Okay. But maybe at some point too, you have to make sure that you keep in contact with your PO and that they know everything. And if, there's if there's a move or change of address or something like that, you're supposed to report to your PO, try to take it upon yourself to make sure that gets done as well. Okay. All right. Okay, so is he currently still in treatment? He is currently still in treatment, is that right?
Your Honor, he was with the therapist that provided this information. Should he return to Wilson County, we would send a request for a transfer there and re-engage treatment with the same therapist if they'll continue.
Okay, good. Okay. I know there have been issues in the past with his therapy. I don't want there to be a hiccup or for him to start over with anybody. Mr. Richmond, anything from you?
Judge, it does look like looks like a progress note dated May 20th. Looks like he's been attending his appointments. I do note that the therapist lists the cooperation engagement as fair and the client progress is fair, which is better than poor, not as good as good. And there are concerns about him living in an unstable situation, but it appears from this that he's still in it.
Okay. All right, I do have concerns, but right now they're not about you, Edward. So I'm going to go ahead and let you go back with your mom, okay? And just understand, Mom and you, Edward, that it's up to the both of you to follow the court orders, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, there is a DTA currently that would need a address that was issued.
Out of this court?
Yes, it was signed last week, so he voluntarily came into custody, but I just want to inform the court that there is.
Yeah, just bring it in here and I'll rescind that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and stop the live stream because our last one is under 14. So pursuant to the Texas Family Code, we are going to now make this a closed hearing. And so if you are not an officer of the court or somebody on that case, or a family member of that juvenile, you will be asked to leave the Zoom meeting. And I just need to give it about 20 seconds before I resume this point. Not yet. Find the right place. Okay, and so we're gonna have to wait. We do not bring in the juvenile yet. Just hold on.